What's up, everyone? I am Tim Oates on bass. Rob Zombie just dropped a new album, which means I absolutely have to listen to it. And while I'm doing that, you're going to join me for a review. The album is called, bear with me, this is long and complicated, The Lunar Injection Kool-Aid Eclipse Conspiracy. I think most people just refer to it as Lunar Injection, but that's the full title. There are 17 tracks, but I can see just by looking at some of the time, there's a lot of like intro tracks or transition tracks. So I'm going to do a lot of combining because quite frankly, if a track's 24 seconds, you don't want to hear me talk about it for a minute, right? This doesn't make any sense. This is the first time you've seen one of these. Here's how it works. You're going to see title cards. That's your chance to pause, listen to the tracks I'm listening to. When you're done, hit play again, and you can hear my thoughts. It's like we're reviewing it together. All right, first track is 55 seconds. That's Expanding the Head of Zed, so I'm going to combine that with track 2, The Triumph of King Freak, a crypt of preservation and superstition. All right, off to a great start. So the opening track, Expanding the Head of Zed. I mean, it's a great opening track for a Rob Zombie album. Synths, samples, and pulsing percussion. I mean, just gets you going. The next track, The Triumph of King Freak, a crypt of preservation and superstition. That was actually the first single that he released from this album. It was actually back in October of 2020. I am fortunate that I was actually able to completely avoid hearing any tracks off this album. I say that because I like to do these album reviews having heard nothing. Sometimes it's unavoidable. Sometimes I just can't help myself. But I was able to somehow completely avoid hearing any tracks off this album. And I'm glad because this was a great way to open up and hear the album. I mean, it was heavy and catchy. And to me, that's exactly how you want Rob Zombie track to go. So let's get to the next one, which is The Ballad of Sleazy Rider. All right, Ballad of Sleazy Rider. That was awesome. So I was hooked from the first, the first couple seconds was like a sample, like that's pretty standard. But like as soon as the guitar came in, that opening guitar riff pulled me in, and I did not stop loving the song until it was over. Just an awesome track. Music is fun, and the arrangement and mix is just great. It's so dynamic and impactful. Awesome song. So the next track is obviously a transition track because it's only 24 seconds. It's Hovering Over the Dull Earth. So I'll be listening to that along with Shadow of the Cemetery Man. Hovering Over the Dull Earth. It was just a lo-fi synth transition, right? Like it's cool, it's fine. But it's 24 seconds of lo-fi synth. Shadow of the Cemetery Man. Oh, the drums and bass in this song, nothing but groove. Makes you want to bob your head. I could see like a DJ taking this track and like doing a remix version of it. Something that like, could be played in like a dance club or I don't know, discotheque, or I don't know what they're called. Do I look like the clubbing type? I'm not, if you couldn't tell. The last thing I'm going to say about this is the bridge got me. That bridge. Oh, the bass is so simple but perfect in that bridge. It just, there's so much soul. So much soul. I can't get over it. All right, next is a 45-second track, so that's probably a transition. So that is A Brief Static Hum, and then the radio blared. Okay, I have a feeling I know what that is. I'll combine that with the next track, which is 18th Century Cannibals, Excitable Warlocks, and a one-way ticket on the Ghost Train. Try saying that 3 times fast. Okay, so for a song called A Brief Static Hum and then the radio blared, that transition track was far more musical than I was expecting. It It could totally be like background music in a movie, which is not surprising considering Rob Zombie also makes movies. That was actually a pretty cool transition track. I dug that. Now, 18th Century Cannibals, Excitable Morlocks, and a One-Way Ticket on the Ghost Train. That one caught me off guard. So it starts with a harmonica, and I'm like, harmonica opening? And then you quickly get like, it's like this Western vibe. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense now. And it actually stays Western throughout most of the track. It does have these like moments where it'll switch up and give you some heavy rock, but it's always short-lived. And it kind of always leaves you wanting that heaviness a little bit more. And then towards the end, like at the very end of the track, it does fulfill that a little bit. I don't know that I would be listening to this song regularly, but it's a sort of thing that if I'm listening to the album and it comes up, definitely not skipping. So let's get to the next track, which is the Eternal Struggles of the Howling Man, which is actually the second single released off this album. And that was in January 2021. Let's do it. The Eternal Struggles of the Howling Man. What a cool song. It opens up and it's just this driving song. Just really riff-driven, kick you in the face rock song. So then it gets to the bridge, and the beginning of that bridge is so sexy. And then the bass work towards the end of the song, it's kind of like the end of the bridge, kind of connecting to the outro. That bass work is phenomenal, and the tone is so good. The next two songs are only like 2 minutes a piece, so I wasn't sure if I should like treat these as individual songs or combine them. So I'm going to treat them as individual songs, and we'll see if they're just short songs or there's something else going on. So next up is the much talked of Metamorphosis. The much talked of Metamorphosis. Okay, I get it. It's a change up from the album. It's actually a really cool way to kind of chill things out in the middle of the album. It's an all acoustic arrangement with some strings behind it. Towards the end of the song, it's John 5, starts doing these guitar harmonies, and they're just on point. Just drives a ton of emotion, really gets the point across. So yeah, really cool song. All right, let's get to the next one, which is another short one, 2:19. So see what I'm in store for here. This is The Satanic Rites of Blackula. All right, that was The Satanic Rites of Blackula. You know, it's just a fun, quick song. Like, not much more to say about it. Barely above 2 minutes. Quick fun. I enjoy it. All right. Next, the next one is Shower of Stones, which is only 28 seconds. That's clearly a transition track. So I'm going to tack on Shake Your Ass, Smoke Your Grass, which sounds like that's going to be a lot of fun. Shower of Stones. Yep. Transition track. Kind of reminded me of like old video game music with a guitar riff on top of it. So that's kind of neat. So Shake Your Ass, Smoke Your Grass. It's a cool song, but I couldn't help but feel through most of it that it was reminding me of something, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Like, it was reminiscent of either a band or a genre, and I'm like, what is that? What is it that I'm hearing? And it doesn't sound like it's ripping off anything. It's not that. It's just, like I said, it's kind of like reminiscent of something, and I cannot figure it out. If you have any idea what I'm talking about, I'm really curious. Put it in the comments if you think you know what it is that I'm hearing, because I'm just clearly hearing some sort of an influence or some sort of it's written in this vibe. It's either a band or a genre. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. All right. Next track is Boom Boom Boom. That was a cool song. Boom Boom Boom. It's got a real like slow funk feel, and it kept up that vibe the entire time. I could totally see some babies getting made to that song. Yeah, and if my kids are watching, sorry, but I speaks the truth. That's what's gonna happen during that song. little Rob Zombie's gonna be made. Next track's only a minute long. It's What You Gonna Do With That Gun Mama. So I'm gonna tack that on with this track after that, which is Get Loose. What you gonna do with that gun, mama? It's quite the transition track. I could not stay still. I was moving my butt the whole time in this chair. Like, normally I don't show any footage of when I'm actually listening to the songs because I'm taking notes and I'm, trying to pay attention. But this is me. This is literally what I was doing while I was listening to this song. And I'm sharing it with the world. No shame in my game. That was a groovy, groovy song. I dug that. It's a transition track, but still, that was a minute of goodness. And quite frankly, Get Loose, the next song was 3 minutes, 28 seconds of goodness. That was a dope, dope song. Really cool mix of styles. It opens up with this Indian vibe. It had a sitar going, and it, quickly switched over to more of a straightforward rock song, but, did a throwback to the sitar. The breakdown is really cool. And then the outro hit, and I'm like, oh, that outro is fire. It's just it's so different while still being right there where it should be in the song. Yeah. So the next one's 57 seconds long, clearly another transition track. But then I'm at the last song because I'm going to combine them, which is Crow Killer Blues. What am I going to do? It's almost over. All right. Serenity of Witches is first. All right, the Serenity of Witches. When that track first opened up, I immediately thought of Stranger Things. I was like, is this the opening to Stranger Things? It did quickly change. It ended up being a really cool song. And then Crow Killer Blues, which is the actual last track, kind of has this like epic sounding feel to it, which is, really cool. Had some great guitar work from John 5, which, let's be honest, I could have said that at any track, but stood out a little bit more on this one. It was a great way to end the album. The actual ending of the track kind of had this like Pink Floyd vibe, which was really cool, but I was not expecting that. It was kind of a little bit of a left turn of, from what I was thinking the album would end with. Really, really cool album. I got to take a second though to address some reception that I'm seeing. I made the mistake of looking up some reviews that have come out because I think this album is fantastic, and I was like, I wonder what everyone else is saying. Metacritic gave it a 53, mixed to average reviews, which I always take anything from Metacritic with a little bit of a grain of salt. Kerrang called the album, I'm on Wikipedia, by the way, so you can look it up with me if you want. Kerrang called the album a familiar ride, but one that's hard to beat. I think that's actually probably a fair assessment. They only gave it 3 out of 5 stars, which I feel like it's a little low. I feel like this album is really good. But this is the one that I need to address. Rolling Stone, Rob Zombie offers the same disco metal dreck he's been peddling for 30 years. Speaking on behalf of myself and lots of other Rob Zombie fans out there, screw you, Rolling Stone. You have been so far off the mark on the pulse of music for so many years. You just need to stop. You do not know good music anymore. And it's so sad because you used to be great. I can remember growing up getting Rolling Stone magazines and reading through, and just, it was perfect. Like, it was always like in touch with the music scene. What happened? You don't understand rock music anymore, and it's so sad. Okay, rant over. Let me know your thoughts. Drop comments, especially if you have any feelings about Rolling Stone and how much they suck. Makes me mad. Anyway, like the video, please, if you liked it. If you didn't like it, I guess dislike it. Interactions are good for the algorithm. Of course, subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. That's how you get notified when I drop new videos just like this one. You keep making beautiful music, and I'll see you in the next one.